What's up everybody? Hamilton Motor Company big screen follow-up review. I'm probably gonna get some roasting in the comment section. I'm just calling it like it is. I will only ever give my fair and honest opinion on stuff that we mess with. As you guys know, I do not ever give people advice or guidance on anything that I haven't physically touched, bought, owned myself, tested, or I've been able to mess with in maybe a customer's vehicle. All right, bear with me because I'm trying to run some errands and shoot content at the same time. Let's start at the top. This video is going to be things I do not like about a Hamilton Motor Company big screen. Number one, we're going to start off with a complaint that my wife has been communicating to me. The head unit takes forever to connect to Apple CarPlay. She's driven out of the neighborhood already and it's still trying to connect to the phone. All right, so just number one, I'm in trouble because I picked it, installed it, and put the money into it. All right, number two, this one here was honestly the big one that surprised me, and I'm gonna roll a little bit of footage of this just to kind of show you guys what I'm talking about. But the screen is definitely laggy. It's not a fluid movement when you go from page to page. Again, for the price point, my expectation was a lot higher. The footage that I'm going to roll now, I shot just a few minutes ago. I'm going to turn the camera around just to show you guys what the temperature is and give you guys a better understanding, because a lot of the reason why these head units kind of lag like they do is because of heat, okay? So I got the AC on in the truck. We are illegally tinted to the max, right? We also have a ceramic brow on the truck. The heat rejection in total on the truck is pretty dramatic, right? It is only right now, and I've been stopped here for a few minutes. It's showing 97 outside. It's not that hot. It's probably 95, 96, but I've been sitting here for a few minutes. So obviously the outside temperature sensor is gonna read just a little bit higher. The truck is still running. I mean, that is freaking annoying, bro. If you are not going to connect your phone to CarPlay, the Z-Link page and the Spotify page is absolutely relentless. It just will not go away. It keeps popping up. It is super annoying. Just that one thing alone has got me completely bent out of shape. When I take the vehicle out, I don't want to be connected to Apple CarPlay. I just want to listen to either a USB or the radio and be done with it, because when we're both in the car together, it then becomes a whose phone is connected, who is not. It is a pain in the behind. All right, so the touch screen, the pressure that your finger needs to make on whatever you are selecting needs to be borderline aggressive. I'm just going to be honest with you. It will not respond to light touches like I would normally see with just about any screen that I've either worked with or owned. I seem to retouch a good 50% of the time, and it is super annoying. Touch multiple times, and I don't know if it's getting the pressure right or we're just not exactly what I'm talking about. And I feel like you almost have to be like super heavy-handed with how you touch. And I will just tell you that we have multiple vehicles with touch screens, and I really just don't feel like we have that issue with any of the other vehicles. Maybe you just got to get used to this screen, but I feel like you got to kind of have a heavy press for it to really pick up that touch. RCA pre-outs on the back of the Hamilton Motor Company big screen. Moving into something a little bit more technical, we originally switched out all of the factory speakers to aftermarket budget speakers. Performed really well. I have to give Hamilton Motor Company some credit on that. The built-in amplifier in this thing is super nice. It will play. You'll be able to switch out your doors, your dash, and your hatch with just the Hamilton Motor Company head unit, and you will get a good result. Now, we switched out from running from the head unit to amped on an aftermarket 4-channel amp that's in the back of the truck, and I already knew I was going to run into this at that point, but the Hamilton screen only has a front left and right RCA pre-out on the back of the head unit. So what that means is when you run a 4-channel amp, you have to Y-split that front left and right to feed a signal to all 4 channels, and then you have to manually set your balance from the amp, which means you're pulling gain out of the rear channels. Now, your rear channels are not that important. It's really not that important, and you shouldn't really have to overthink that step. You could technically remove the rear doors and hatch speakers, and it's not really going to affect your experience up front. But for a head unit that is sub $1,000, I would at least expect that it had a front left and right, rear left and right, RCA pre-out. So RCA pre-outs front left and right. I'll roll some footage of that here in just a sec, but more or less at volume 21, we were clean at around 3 volts. 3 volts is really nice for your aftermarket amps, anything kind of between 2 and 5 volt. So running a 1 kilohertz 0 dB test tone on a Tony D'Amore test tone USB. So confirmed clean test tones, SMD DD1 plus, absolutely distorted at volume 22 of 40. 1 kilohertz test track rolling. Let's start that from the beginning. And we are at, let's start at volume 21. So I've already tested this. I already know what I'm going to see. And again, all of our filters are set flat. And straight out of the head unit, at 1 kilohertz detect, we have a 3 volt signal. Okay. At volume 21, and then we're gonna bump up to volume 22. So we were still clean on the 40 hertz test tone at 22, and as you can see at volume 22 we are distorted again straight out of the head unit. So what this means is, even if you are just switching out this head unit and running the factory speakers front to rear, I will tell you that your maximum volume is 21. I wouldn't be going over that. Anything above 21, you're pretty much introducing a bad time for your door speakers. Subwoofer pre-out, pretty much the same thing. At volume 22, we were clean at just a little bit over 3 volts. At volume 23, distorted out of 40. So a lot of people are going to say, well, I don't go over volume 21 or 22 anyway, or possibly, well, you're setting gains from the maximum clean signal. What does it matter? It matters because when you are setting a clean signal front to rear and you are clipped at volume 22 of 40, what happens then is when you're at volume 0, you have no output. At volume 1, you are already pretty loud. That more or less wraps up my little updated review on the Hamilton Motor Company big screen. Full disclaimer, we paid in full for this head unit. There was no affiliation, freebies, discounts, none of that. For the price point, like I said, I just had, I guess, more expectations of what it could do and how user-friendly it was. Maybe I'd give First Nav a try, the Cedar. Let me know in the comment sections what you think. Appreciate y'all for watching.